Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. Before we get into the video, I do want to take a quick bit of time to apologise for the lack of content lately. Basically, over the last week or so, I've come down with a pretty severe chest infection that basically wiped me out completely, and then I did kind of feel a little bit better on I believe the Saturday, but then to be quite honest, I just got quite badly again. Yeah, pretty much wiped my voice out completely, so making content was an absolute nightmare. I did attempt it, but honestly the voice and just how rough it completely sounded was just ridiculous. So, you know, I've had to kind of put a lot of my plans on the back burner, so my content will be returning now, finally, even if I do sound rough for the next couple of days or so. I'm hoping to get my my natural speaking voice back as soon as possible. So no, I'm not dead. The channel's very much still here, and I'm still very much making content. So I do apologise for obviously taking a few days away, but like most of you said, health comes first, and that's kind of the way it's had to be. So with that side note out of the way and done with, let's actually get on to the topic of today's video, which is actually going to be about update 1.30 and a bit of a ninja patch Polyphony did kind of under our noses. Originally, what I'm going to talk about, I actually expected to come with 1.29, but it actually didn't. It was still bugged as of 1.29, but update 1.30 comes along and it actually went along as a unlisted change. There was completely no mention of it. What I'm talking about is the 1.27 update events. If you didn't know, the 3 events that came along with that update were very much bugged and were unable to be completed for a lot of people. It was very random which one actually bugged out for you, or which few, or it could have been all of them. So with 1.27, we got the Hypercar Parade. This is just an addition of a older menu book that came along that was at Monza, and as you can see, I had no problems getting this one done when update 1.27 dropped. It gave me the gold medal, it counted the first place, and I carried on with my 100% completion. Nürburgring. This was a 2-lap event for 25 grand, which was ridiculous, and this one never counted for me. So I just left that one alone, to be quite honest, because 2 laps for 25 grand seems, well, not really worth it. However, I did have the exact same thing with the Bathurst one. So this is a 5-lap race around Bathurst, but as you can see, I've now got the gold medal for it. When I first tried doing this one again after 1.29, it still wouldn't give me the gold medal. However, I played a bit of PSVR2, went and did it again, and it actually managed to tick it off this time. So I had one more event to do, so I strapped on VR and decided to do a bit of a track day with the Aston Martin Vulcan. So with Monza already ticked off when 1.27 released and the accidental completion after 1.30 of the Bathurst event, this left me the 2 laps for 25 grand. In all honesty, this is probably my most frustrating event in the entire game, that it put me off going back and even doing it, even though I knew I could finally get that gold medal. Obviously 2 laps for 25 grand is a little bit ridiculous. However, I decided to just pluck it up while I was playing around with PSVR2 and finally go and get it out the way and done with. As someone who's always pretty much had the 100% completion within GT7, including all gold medals, and every time the game gets updated, you go along and add those extra golds to your tally. Yeah, this is pretty much a small slice of heaven, this secret little update, or little patch should I say. To be honest, as soon as I realised these events couldn't be completed in 1.27, I was just absolutely frustrated beyond belief. Then when 1.29 dropped, I saw a lot of people question if the events were actually able to be completed. At the time they wasn't, they were still absolutely bugged out. However, with 1.30 they are finally completable, and it finally takes me back to having a gold medal in everything within GT7, which is a massive relief for someone like me. I don't know if I'm the only one. It's kind of a question I want to put out to you guys. Do you guys kind of pride yourself on keeping that 100% record going? I know for me, it was basically as soon as the game came out, I golded everything I could within the first few weeks of the game, and then it was a case of every update after that, I'd go ahead, get the new gold medals, and just keep it ticking over. I mean, I don't know if it's just kind of a little bit of OCD in terms of the game, but as soon as these 1.27 events were bugged, yeah, the frustration was absolutely real. However, this does bring me another bit of a question that I kind of want to put to Polyphony at the end of this video, but we'll get back to that a little bit later. One thing I do really want to talk about in terms of these events is the fact that when 1.27 came out, I did mention that these events were just massively bugged and glitched for a lot of people. I know for some people it wasn't, but it seemed for the majority that they were very much uncompletable, and it was very kind of random which ones would complete and which ones wouldn't. It really does kind of make me think, you know, it was only 3 events, and to be honest, it took them, you know, just over 2 months to actually get them patched and ready to be completed by everybody. You know, it does kind of make you wonder about the quality of these kind of little quality of life changes or bug fixes and stuff, that they'll go and patch something quite major out quite quickly, but kind of little things like this, they just leave lingering around for ages. It really does kind of get you thinking. So eventually I did manage to get it ticked off. As you can see, that is finally my 100% record back up and running. Yes, I ran 2 laps of the Nürburgring Nordschleife for 25 grand, which wasn't the best feeling. However, the VR kind of did help. It does give you a bit of a new perspective. So these events are finally completable, and there you go. That was my poxy little reward. Now let me just take you back to what I mentioned earlier. So as soon as I completed these events and finally got them all done, I did kind of sit there thinking that yes, this was kind of done as a bit of a ninja update, so it wasn't kind of made known that these are completable, which I do think is a bit of a shame because it has been bugging a lot of people. I could not keep count day one when 1.29 released of the amount of people that were asking if the free 1.27 events were finally able to be done. And it kind of just makes me think, you know, why aren't Polyphony kind of being a lot more transparent with these little things that they're working on in the background? You know, it seems that they either tell you a lot of things or they tell you absolutely nothing. But in terms of the long-term effect of Gran Turismo 7, this does seem to genuinely be a bit of a running theme with them. Maybe it's just me, but it seems that Polyphony have kind of been like this since day one. You know, they don't really tell you anything. Their social medias and kind of the way they, you know, go about things and, you know, where they're going to take the game and such just seems almost non-existent, which is a massive shame. And I feel like something that, yes, it may be insignificant in the whole, I guess, scheme of things in terms of Gran Turismo 7, but just not putting a quick little patch note to let people know that they can finally go back and complete these events instead of just leaving us all guessing is just very much a weird thing, and just seems to continue that typical thing of Polyphony of just not really keeping their audience up to date, which is just a massive shame. I do want to see that kind of, you know, improved by Polyphony in the long term, but whether or not that'll happen, who knows. So thank you so much for watching. Honestly, I do appreciate it. Again, I do apologise for the lack of content. Obviously, just not being well completely wiped me out, and I do thank you for being as supportive as you have been, and obviously just bearing with me while I got myself there. In terms of the video, don't forget to do the usual, the like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I don't really need to keep repeating that. Discord, Twitter and all that is in the description. Have a great day, guys. Peace.